looking at the newly released footage from the George Floyd arrest. Uh, First of all, the cops showed up after George Floyd was already arrested, and it's more interesting that they are arresting anybody for misdemeanors, like a counterfeit $10 bill, trying to pass it off. Trying to, and then when the cops showed up, they're acting like his counterfeit production team or somebody had just minted a fucking counterfeit $10 bill or something. So then that would make it a like a felony or something. But I'm sure that has nothing to do with actually going on. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that there has been nothing like information wise like that is being like, oh, this is for you to know, like this is transparent information for you to process it. It's more like an inside joke or something else, the tail end of somebody else's conversation. So I don't really know what's going on, but it seems like it's possible that for all we know, he could be a popsicle that they could have thought out. Then they were just loosening up his limbs for the photo op. And they're making like a movie that they're making, and it's all a distraction. It's like a artificial destruction, and it's and a hoax, which is even worse than killing black people, basically. So what I'm saying is even worse because now you're driving around with a freezer truck and adding a Screen Actors Guild. So I mean, that's just until something looks like proof that there was a struggle. I can't really know any different. Like I'm not gonna go by the masses of people, that are burning down low income, people residents. You're like you don't understand, right? See, right before this quarantine shit, I seen people pull themselves together out of addiction and get back, like, you know what I'm saying, like almost everything back. And they're the first people that was laid off and sitting back on the bench with all their belongings again after pulling off what I commend, what I would say was admirable. It was admirable to watch. An old guy, like an old dope. Maybe he was a dope fiend when he was younger or something. He looks his stress aged his face. He was a little bit aged. Okay, he uses like he puts black shit in his hair, and he works at a supermarket, Safeway, which is a mainstream supermarket. So it's all his personality and everything. And he's a checker, which means that he's the face and a representative of Safeway. What the fuck? Now he's back on. He's the first one that they let go because he's older. So I'm not having all this shit. Like I don't even care if you think you're burning down the corporate establishment. Like you do need corporations. You do need jobs and all that shit until you can figure that out and some shit. Then when you do figure that out, then you can burn something like the Navy. They blew up a lot of their own toys and making movies and shit, and to work a deal so that they can influence later on down the road, like sitcoms and series and shit that deals with kids on that age group, that's like becoming an adult, so that they basically the Navy's had their hands in making this kind of programming, that kind of television programming, and who the fuck God knows. I'm not. Don't let me try to fucking make sense out of it, okay? I'm not. I don't really like. I don't really know beyond like why. Basically, something that will have to take a long time to happen, right? Uh, Developers might be like, well, it'll help processing and computing or something like that. So we'll start messing around with the algae and bioluminescence and bats and shit in laboratories, and we're trying, because we're trying to get together biotech, you know, processing, data processing, right? And it'll take like 150 years for the fucking ocean to glow, but maybe by then we'll have a solution, or maybe we'll be able to contain the plankton species, that fucking we use in our computer processors that's glowing. Okay, So I mean, it's just like fucking. Just I mean, be glad that you're not responsible for fucking wrecking the planet when there could be some like other, sentient conscious beings out, like, that consider it a precious something or other, and you don't even know. We never see them. We don't know what they do here and everything. But like, I mean, can you imagine? Like, they're not. The aliens is not mad at me, bro. They're not mad at me.